Hello Flosstube, my name is Sarah and you're very welcome to my channel SewMeSarah. It is Tuesday the 21st of November 2023 and I'm here a little bit earlier than usual. Here on this channel we celebrate cross stitch, sometimes other needlework and some general chit chat as well. As I said, I'm a little bit early in my normal kind of fortnightly schedule. That's because I won't be here this weekend. I am managing to sneak away with some friends for a little bit of sewing and girly catch up up our north coast area. So I'm hoping that it won't be too breezy and cold so we can get a walk along the beach and just blow the cobwebs away for a little bit. So those are my plans and that's why I'm here a little bit early. I have a tiny bit of stitching to share with you today. I want to share the winner of Abby's lovely giveaway from Project Stitchcraft. Then I'm going to tell you all about Sally and my plans for our 50th birthday start along. And then I will finish off with some ways that you can connect. I have found some other ways that you can connect into the stitching community here and I thought I should share them with you. So I hope that you'll stick around for all that I have to share today and I apologise upfront for the lack of stitching, personal stitching involved. Just a couple of days after the last video I woke one morning and my back was in spasm. So there wasn't much movement of any kind happening. I did make it out of bed, but I was at a very peculiar angle and couldn't straighten up properly. So I had a few days just sitting on the sofa taking meds. I did hope that just having the time to sit on the sofa might mean I would get more stitching done than a normal day, but unfortunately those meds are strong and no, I wasn't fit for any kind of stitching when I was taking those. I was really quite sleepy and dopey. Anyway, I'm glad to be off them. I'm glad to be mobile again. They did their job and the spasm released and I'm kind of almost back to normal. So I'm back to work, back to normal life, just a little twinge here and there. So I'm just being careful not to exacerbate things. Anyway, small problem, but it does mean that I didn't get very much stitching done. Anyway, what I did do is a little bit more on my daily thread. I think I had about 3 days because there was only 3 days of stitching. And this is I Am No Bird by Modern Folk Embroidery. So on the last video, I had a little bit more of the roof tiles to do here. So I have completed those and I've brought this side gable in as well. And that's it. That's all the progress I got out of about 3 threads. So yeah, didn't quite go to plan, but it's still a wee bit of progress. And I am early, so I'm hoping that I can catch up a little bit on this over the weekend when I'm away. So that is I Am No Bird. That's my daily thread stitch. And then I finally remembered to bring in G is for Gingerbread from the car. This is my car stitch when I'm waiting after work for Charlotte to get out of school. This is G is for Gingerbread by Whilst Iris Naps, Christina's design. And I am going to try to stitch 2 of these, one for my son, one for my daughter. It looks at this point like they won't be fully finished for this Christmas, but I would like to finish the stitching this year. So here's where I am. One gingerbread man is fully stitched and one gingerbread, I guess she must be the gingerbread girl, she's partially stitched. So I will get to her over the next couple of weeks, stitching in the car, waiting for Charlotte to come out of school. So I have high hopes of that being a finish. If you remember from my last video, it's one of the 5 that I want to concentrate on and finish before the new year. I think that one will be okay. Very cute little gingerbread people. And then this one I probably should have showed you first because it is actually a finished stitch, and it is the Caterpillar Cross Stitch Positivity Lifts SAL. So the final part was released quite some time ago and I was just a little bit behind getting to it, but look, I think this is one of my favorites that I have, one of my favorite Caterpillar SALs that I've done this year. Although I have to say that the Christmas Wonderland is coming in a very close second. But this one, I love the colors. I think it's so pretty. I just love the words. It's all so peaceful to me. So I really enjoyed this one. And it is still there and still available if anyone fancies having a go. You'll find it on Caterpillar Cross Stitch. So that is the finish of that one. And that, my friends, is all I managed to stitch in my medicated haze of the last week or so. I am picking up now part 5 of Caterpillar Cross Stitch Christmas Wonderland. That released and I'm getting there. There are a few more skiers and snowboarders and another little building further down and some other lovely little elements in. So I really want to be able to stitch that before part 6 comes out, which is probably only about a week and a half away. So I need to keep that needle flying, and as I said, now that I've emerged from the medicated haze, I'm hoping to be able to keep working on that. I also have 2 secret stitches that I'm doing. One is for a friend and one is for the Stitch in London Christmas swap. So we were allocated our partners last week and I am getting stitching on that. So I have organised, I haven't actually put any stitches in, but I have gathered threads and fabric and patterns and I'm ready to go now that I'm kind of back on track again. I think those will be some small stitches that I'll take away with me this weekend and use them just in the fill-in time that I have while I'm chatting with my friends. It's not a cross-stitch weekend this weekend. We are going away and we're going to make a tote bag together, and that's going to be really fun. But my friend Noreen, who came to Stitch in London with me, will be there. So the 2 of us are going to be flying the cross-stitch banner when we are just sitting around and chatting and not making our tote bags. So looking forward to that immensely. So that is pretty much it for my actual stitching. I wanted to share a few patterns that have released in the last week or so that have made their way into my stash by various means. So the first is a charity pattern, and I just want to say that regardless of your political views on the situation, there is a catastrophic humanitarian crisis happening in Gaza. And you all know that I don't want to get into that overly much here, but it does bother me. I mean, it bothers me a lot that innocent people are suffering as they are. And I'm not the only one that it bothers. And some of our stitching community are putting their designing skills to work in an attempt to raise money for that cause, to help people in crisis. So Yas from Yasmin's Made with Love this week came out with a beautiful design called Stitchers for Peace. And this is her design. I don't know if you can see it terribly well on the printout, but this dove is a beautiful patterned silhouette really of the dove. And we've got olive branches around there. So Yas has released this to raise money for the PCRF, which is the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. They are doing their best to get relief, medical supplies, food, water, basic needs to people, and in particular with the particular focus to children in this case. So that charity is working very hard to get aid to to where it is most needed. And Yaz is offering this pattern to folks who have made a donation to the PCRF. So you will find details of how to get hold of the pattern and how to donate on Yaz's latest Flosstube and also on her Instagram pages. So if this interests you, then please go and have a look. If it doesn't interest you, and if you have political difficulties with this, then by all means you're entitled to that, but please don't share hatred here, or indeed hatred towards Yaz. I just please ask that you would be kind. Okay, this week, or last week, a couple of weeks ago anyway, we had a Zoom call with Stitch Across the Pond, and on that Zoom I met a lovely stitcher who it turns out is a floss tuber and a designer. Her name is Sarah and she lives in Canada, and she goes by the floss tube name of the Rocking Chair Stitcher. So I heartily recommend that you go and have a watch of Sarah's channel and say hi to her there. Sarah is dipping her toe in the water of designing and has put out 3 or 4 designs in her Etsy shop. Again, I will link that below. One of those designs is this. It is Well With My Soul. And I think it's lovely, but it's also a very special hymn, a very special song to me. It has resonances in several different ways throughout my life. For me personally, for a friend who was battling cancer, she would sing it at the top of her voice every single morning in the shower, top of her voice, no matter where she was. I know because we shared a hotel room with her and there she was belting it out. It is well with my soul. So yes, because it has resonance with me and because I really thought the pattern was very pretty, I purchased this from Sarah's Etsy shop. So she has another couple of pretty designs there, and I'm sure that she will have more to come. But go have a look at her floss tube and also take a peek in her Etsy shop if you're interested. Now, one of our long-standing friends here in the community is Lauren at Flossabilities, and I was so delighted to see an update from Lauren in my YouTube feed, but it was a few days before I could get round to it. And in the interim period, I saw lots of folks telling me on Instagram that Lauren has started an Etsy shop with some of her designs in. So I was very excited to go and watch her video and hear all about her plans to step into designing. So there's Lauren and her mum, who's Mama Flossabilities. Mama is her model stitcher at present, and there's also her brother who is helping with some of the design work. So it's a family affair headed very ably by Lauren, and I just couldn't resist buying a couple of the patterns that she has released in her new Etsy shop. So the 2 that I purchased are seasonal pillows. So I imagine there might be 2 more coming, given that one is autumn. The autumn, let me do them one at a time. The autumn pillow, look at the artwork, isn't it beautiful in her heading and everything? So that is the autumn pillow. And then this one is the winter pillow. So I want to wish Lauren all the very best. I think there will be great things to come. I'm kind of relieved that she's not designing what she stitches, which are enormous heads, enormous full coverage pieces. So thank you for keeping them small and accessible to the likes of me, Lauren. But these are beautiful, and I wish you very well with all your future designs and your shop. The last pattern that I have to share with you is a freebie, and one that we can all access. This is from Beth at Be More Creative. Beth has a Flosstube channel called Be More Creative, and on the 17th of every month she puts out a freebie pattern, and you can access that via a link on her Flosstube, and it takes you to the Google link where you can download the pattern. Now last week in the UK it was anti-bullying week, and Beth she works in a school, in a boarding school, and so you know, through schools, I mean, it was the same at Charlotte's school. They were doing different things to promote an anti-bullying ethos policy and support that during the week. So what Beth did was designed her freebie with that anti-bullying in mind. And so she designed this lovely little red sampler called One Kind Word. So one kind word can change someone's entire day. And I think there's so much truth in that. I think there's a lot of truth in the opposite as well. An unkind word can destroy someone's entire day. So let's keep it positive and let's stick with the kind words. We are generally a very kind community here, and I know that all of you share these kind words and help along and boost people and straighten people's crowns all of the time through this community. So One Kind Word is available to you if you want to find that. I will put links to Beth's channel in the drop down information below. So those are the new patterns that I have added to my stash for no other reason than I just liked them and I wanted to have them. Now, what you've all been waiting for is the announcement of the winner of Abby's giveaway. So last time I was sharing with you the beautiful needle, sorry for the glare, there we go, needle minder and floss drops that Abby had sent me. She also sent me this lovely vintage Christmas set. And she has kindly offered to send you, one of you, the floss drop set and the needle minder of your choice from her channel. So I asked you to go and have a little look at her Etsy shop, which is called Project Stitchcraft, and tell me which product from her shop you liked the most. There were many, many votes for the autumn needle minders, for the foxes and the squirrels and the owls, and I have to agree that those were among my favourites too. But in general, there was lots of love for Abby's shop, and Abby was very pleased that you were all over there having a look. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for entering the little giveaway. There were 100 entries to the giveaway, and I drew a winner earlier, and that winner is Dawn Barney. So Dawn, if you would like to get in touch with me, you can use the email address in the drop down below, or you can contact me via direct message on Instagram at SewMeSarah. And what you need to do is give me an email address or your Instagram name, so that I can pass that on to Abby, and Abby will be in touch with you then to ask which set of which set of floss drops and needle minder you would like her to send to you, and she will arrange to get that to you as your prize. So thank you very much everyone for entering, and congratulations Dawn. Please do get in touch and I will share your details with Abby as soon as I can. Okay, now I have been chatting with you on and off the last couple of videos about a project that Sally from Flossie Sews and Grows and I are going to be doing next year. And some of you think we are mad, many of you think we are mad, but we are going to attempt a year of 50 starts for our 50th birthdays. So on this video today, I just want to share with you a little bit of information about how that's going to work as a whole, how you might be able to join in, and what it's going to look like as we go through next year, 2024. Okay, So first of all, I would really encourage you, please, to go over to Sally's channel, which is Flossie Sews and Grows, and follow her so that you can watch Sally's half of the challenge as well, to see what projects she chooses to start next year. Some of them will be we will start the same projects, and some will be different. So Sally will have things to share with you that I'm not sharing here. So please do go and support Sally as she undertakes this mad challenge too. It's all her idea, so I'm fully blaming her. Actually, I owe Sally a big thank you, because it was Sally who originally worked out that we were both born in 1974. She had seen my year of birth on the family portrait sampler from Modern Folk Embroidery when I finished that at the end of the summer, I think. And she worked out we were both 1974 babies and therefore both due to be 50 next year. So I'm hanging on to the fact that I'm not even 49 yet, like by about this much, couple of weeks, guys. But yeah, we're both in the later part of 2024. We are turning 50. But Sally contacted me and said, hey, we're both turning 50 next year. I was thinking of doing something to celebrate my 50th birthday through the channel. Would you be interested in joining? And she'll tell you that I was not reluctant to join, but reluctant to commit to 50 starts to begin with. But as I've said before, Sally talked some sense and said, well, you know, think about how many starts you've already had this year. And, you know, that's without focusing on starting, without being quite, oh, there's a word and it's gone, sorry. Anyway, without being very deliberate about starting projects. I had managed to start like 35 or something already. And so I thought, yeah, it's not a massive leap actually if I am dedicated to the idea of 50 starts, that I could probably achieve them. So I came around to the full 50, even after I'd suggest we did 25 each and whatever, but Sally let me simmer and I came around. So thank you, Sally. But most of all, Sally, thank you for inviting me. It's going to be fun to do this along with someone. I don't make a big fuss about my birthday generally, and probably was quite happy to, you know, push 50 away. But I do think that it will be a lot of fun to be able to celebrate here in a space and a place that I love, doing a thing that I love. And so mad as it is, it's just for fun. And so Sally and I have agreed to do this. Now, when we chatted about this at Stitch in London, Sally's first rule was that there should be no rules for this start along, for this SAL. Mainly because we're both different people living different lives. We can't do exactly the same thing with this SAL. We need to have a little bit of flexibility that makes the SAL work for each of us. So that's fine with me, and that seems to work. We are going to try to keep it cohesive, but it just means that we aren't stitching exactly 50 the same projects. We're not doing everything on the same date. And that's really how we'll run. So we might find that when one of us knows we have a particularly good month for stitching, like maybe January is quiet and we want to do some extra starts in January. By extra, I mean, obviously, if we're doing 50 starts across the year, that's approximately one start a week, if you want to think of it that way. But let's say one of us thinks January is a quiet month, we could maybe get more than one start a week in, or we know that August is a busy month because we're on family holiday, we're not going to get much stitching in, we might try to make up for that somewhere else. So it's roughly one start a week for me, but it might be more flexible from time to time. We will each keep you posted on our channels about our timetable, as it were, for the next few weeks, or the next, for a short period of time. Having looked at planning my projects, I don't think there's any point in publishing my 50 projects now because they're going to change. I know they're going to change across the year, but I have started with a skeleton, if you like, and we're able to hang some things on that, and then we can work around and shuffle a few things here and there. Now, what Sally and I do propose is that we would have approximately one start a month each. One start each month that we will both be doing. So in January, our very first start for our year is going to be this twin bird pin cushion that we got in Stitch in London, and this is by Chloe Wood, who is Girl with the Gavel Stitches. So we have chosen this to be our first start. We're both going to start this, and this will be our very first. So whether it's probably going to be New Year's Day, if I am up at 1 minute past 12, which I won't be, but if I were, then I would be itching to do this. So when I do get up on the 1st of January, I will have my needle in hand, and I cannot wait to get started. If you would like to join us with this stitch, we know that it's not available just yet, but Chloe is releasing it in January on her Etsy shop. So you can take the details here, twin bird pin cushion, and you can check back at the Etsy shop in January. And don't worry that you can't start exactly on the same day as us. That's not what this SAL is about. This SAL is about you joining in as and when you can. So if you particularly like the look of this, join us a couple of weeks later and start it then. Okay? So there are no hard and fast rules for you guys either. So that will be our first start, and as I say, roughly each month we will have one pattern that we're both going to make a start on, and we've had a lot of fun trying to work out which patterns we have in common and which things we would like to stitch together. We're going to share our birthday stitches. Sally's birthday is September, mine is December, so we've got plenty of time. And I imagine that we will share with you in advance what those are going to be in case you would like to join in. Maybe it's already sitting in your stash and you'd like to get it out and put a few stitches in to raise a glass to us. So raising a glass to us, or raising your needle to us, is really what it's about in terms of your cooperation or your participation in the SAL. You don't have to do 50, although there are a couple of you, Karen at The Stitching Owl and Enid at Inherited Stitches, who are going to attempt 50 ornaments or 50 starts. And thank you so much for being brave and joining us. But you don't have to do 50. You can do one in the whole year, and it doesn't have to even be a project that we are starting. It can be just something that you want to start in celebration with us. So that is how you can join in. So there's a lot of scope there. If you see something we're stitching and you want to stitch it, do that. If you don't, pick something of your own and put a few stitches in for us, and you could send us a picture on Instagram, tag us. There will be a hashtag, and it is Fun for 50 SAL 2024. I think I got that right. I'll put it down below, and we will reiterate it as we talk to you each time. So that will be the hashtag, but of course you know that Instagram's hashtags are not working terribly well at the moment, so be sure to tag us in at SewMeSarah and at Flossie Sews and Grows as well, if you're doing a stitch to start along with us next year. So as I said, you can start along with us. You can do 50, you can do 1, you can do as many as you like. If you see one that we've started and you want to do it the next week, then do that. We're going to tell you some of the things in advance and some of them we won't, because this is ever changing. It's a bit fluid for us, put it like that. But if we know that together we're starting Project X in March, we will try and tell you in advance so that if you have it, you can start that one too. But as I said, don't worry if you start a week after us or whatever. It's just about sharing and community and just saying congrats on making it to 50 girls. Okay, so one of the things that I was asked on the last video was what constitutes a start, and that's really one of the areas where the rules don't apply. So there isn't a rule about what constitutes a start. For Sally it will be one thing and for me it will be another. So for me, what I would like my starts to be would be 2 nights of stitching. So that's about 5, maybe 6 hours of stitching in a start. So I don't want my start to be 5 stitches. I would like it to be a little bit more than that. And as I mentioned last time, my stitching rotation will change for next year, and I will try to stitch Monday night and Tuesday night on my new starts. So between the 2 nights, I would hope to get about 5-6 hours of stitching in, and that will be considered a start. If you want to make your start 1 hour, fine. If you want to make your start 3 stitches, then there are no rules. Do what makes you happy, okay? And just join us in the joy of being silly for 50. Fun for 50, remember? Okay, I'm just checking my list to make sure that I'm covering everything. Okay, the prompt list. So we asked you to provide us with some prompts, some themes that we could work to throughout the course of our year. We had an amazing response to that. As I said on my last video, I think we had 86 unique suggestions. And I mean, some of those suggestions were suggested by 2 or 3 different people. So we had well over 100 of you making suggestions to us, and 86 of those were unique suggestions. I have compiled those in a list, and what we're going to do with that list is Sally and I are going to try and tick some of those off as we are doing our starts. So again, we're doing that independently, so we will each have different lists, different themes ticked off by the end of the year. We may not have covered everything, but we will try to cover as many as we can and just have fun with this as we go along. So for example, our first stitch we might be able to tick off the stitch a pillow, stitch a pincushion prompt, or stitch something in blue, I think might have been another prompt. So whatever the prompts are that this one fulfills, we will tick off as we start them. We're going to share the prompt list with you, and if my technical ability is up to that, you should find down below in the drop-down information, you should find a link to a Google Doc, and you are very welcome to download that list, have a look at it yourself, and choose one of your starts according to one of those prompts or themes. You could use the prompts or themes for your own fun purposes as well. There were lots of really great suggestions in there, and I am looking forward very much to making as many of them happen as I can. It is tying me in knots a little bit because I want to do all of them, nearly all of them. There's a couple of them I'm not so sure about, but I think they're wonderful, wonderful suggestions and challenges. So thank you, and please do look out down below for the link to that list. So you will see the list and you'll be able to follow along, and hopefully Sally and I will be able to tick the list off as we go, so you can pop back periodically and see which ones we have which ones we've ticked off. We have not, we're not going to publish the names of the people who suggested the prompts, just for your privacy. We probably will mention as we stitch, we'll say, well, you know, and this meets the following themes and that were suggested by Karen or Carol or whoever, you know, and we'll just sort of mention it as we go as a way of thanking you. But we didn't want to, we just, for, you know, for privacy reasons, we didn't want to publish your names in the list below. So the list below is just prompts and a tick list for Sally and a tick list for me. So it should make sense when you have a look at it. But that is another way that you can join with us, have a look at the list, and you can choose something in advance. So if you decide, I like the look of that theme, I'm going to stitch that in March for the Stitch Along with Sarah and Sally. So we will be sharing as much as we can here on our channels and Instagram, and we hope that you will have fun and join in with us. From time to time, we might ask you for some suggestions or to choose a pattern. You know, next week I'm going to start A or B, which one should it be, or something along those lines. But we will each, again, do things that work for our channel and work for us personally, whilst still doing this together. So please cheer us on. And I know you already have, even those of you who are rolling your eyes and thinking we're crazy, you're still cheering us on. So you're a really good bunch, and thanks a million for that. As January begins, Sally and I will start our year with the twin bird pincushion, and then we will reveal more to you as the time gets near. We will reveal more to you that we're sure of. We don't want to tell you now that we're going to stitch something in January that maybe we'll change our mind about. So each of us will share what we can with you when we can, and I hope that you will really enjoy just seeing a little bit of this process with us and joining in our Fun for 50 SAL 2024. Okay, other ways that you can join in with this channel, with this community, sorry, not this channel. Connect with the community, which is something I've been talking about the last couple of times. Other ways that you can connect are through other SALs. And so Sally and I have this one going on next year, but there are several others that have been mentioned recently on Flosstube Channels, and I wanted to share them with you in case you're not aware of them, because they might be of interest to you. So first of all, Michelle at Mama Loves You GB is doing a Pinkernpunkin Saltbox freebie house SAL. So that's a lot of words. So Pinkernpunkin have a range of Saltbox houses that are free on their blog. And Michelle is doing a SAL that picks up on 6 houses. So you choose 6 houses and you join the SAL. She has a really helpful link on her Flosstube channel, which takes you to a kind of collated document of all of the houses that she could find. I think she said there were 35 of them so far, so you've plenty of choice. But Michelle has done the hard work, and she has on this document, she has a picture of the house and the link to where you will find it on the Pinkernpunkin blog. So if you're interested in that SAL, please go to Michelle's channel and find out more about it and join in. So it looks like a really fun stitchy SAL. Then Roz Clark at Roz Clark Craft, the Flosstube channel here, has been speaking on her last video about a mystery SAL she's going to do next year. It's called A Celebration of Colour, and Roz kind of launched it on her last video with a really wonderful exercise on colour theory, on the colour wheel, and how to choose your thread palette for this SAL. So you're choosing 12 threads and a black, but the 12 that you choose are from a colour wheel, and she goes through the exercise with you with paints and then with threads and several different varieties of threads. That's not the right way to phrase it, but she does it much better than I do. But anyway, she takes you through it, and I was really enwrapped. And I watched, and I thought, yeah, that's a really great idea. And I really liked the exercise she did on the colour wheel and colour theory, and I couldn't get it out of my head. And it was not something I was particularly planning, but I couldn't get it out of my head. And by the next evening, I was there planning my colours. So I have chosen my palette. Those of you who are following me on Instagram will have already seen it. And I put them on the lovely floss drops that were gifted to me by Charlie. So these are my 12 colours plus black. And you can see they make a lovely rainbow, and mine are kind of jewel toned. It wasn't quite what I intended, but when I started with a red, a yellow, and a blue that I loved, this was what the result of the colour wheel exercise turned out to be, and I think it's lovely. So it is a mystery, and there is a risk with mystery SALs, but I'm willing to take it. So I cut my fabric, I've chosen my floss, and this will be one of my January starts. Starting it with Roz as the SAL and hopefully keeping up. But it's a start for one of my 50 starts as well. So thank you, Roz, for pulling that together and for intriguing me enough to join. So if any of you would like to join in, I really highly recommend going and watching Roz's last video and getting yourself prepared and excited for a little bit of a stitching adventure in 2024. The last SAL that I found out about that I could share with you is from Helen D. And if you don't watch Helen D's channel, you should. She has a lovely channel, shows beautiful stitching, and puts out many, many wonderful finishing videos as well. So Helen's SAL for 2024 is a SAL which encourages us to stitch from books and magazines. We all have them. We all bought the books and bought the magazines because we loved them, and then we don't stitch from them. So this is, pardon me, a SAL to encourage us to get out our books and I do beg your pardon. Got the hiccups. This is a SAL to encourage us to get out our books and magazines and give those patterns a whirl. So she's calling it the BookitSAL, B-O-O-K-I-T SAL. I think that has some kind of cultural relevance for those of you in the US. I'm sorry, I didn't fully catch it, but I think it's a great SAL nonetheless, whether I caught the cultural reference or not. So she's calling it the BookitSAL, and you'll get more information on that on Helen D's channel. I will link all of these 3 channels below and try to link the videos in particular where they mention the SAL so that you can find out a little bit more and you can follow along. So I think that is everything that I have to share with you today. Folks, I hope it wasn't too much of a whirlwind. Sorry for the lack of my stitching. I hope that you will join with us in 50 starts for next year in some shape or form, and just have fun with us. I will be back in about 2.5 weeks' time, and by then the autumn decorations should become Christmas decorations. Someone here would like to say hello. Do you want to say hello to everybody?
Okay.
You say hello?
Let me change you. Oh.
Just say hello.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Are we going to put our Christmas decorations up soon?
Yeah.
Yes? Would that be exciting?
Yeah.
So next time I'm back, there should be Christmas decorations behind me rather than the autumn ones. Yeah. So for now, I hope that you will all stay well and stitch happy. Bye, folks.
Bye, folks.